Welcome to University Today. I'm your host, I'm Steve Brennemann, and today we'll be talking with Jay Sproat about the 20th Century Tactical Studies Group, among other things. Thank you for coming, Jay.
Well, I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Well, tell me something. What exactly is the 20th Century Tactical Studies Group? What do you do?
The 20th Century Tactical Studies Group is an offshoot of which is still in existence, the World War II HRS. Which is the HRS stands for Historical Reenactment Society. It was formed back in 1975 by a group of reenactors and historians, collectors in St. Louis. And it's growing today to be over 1,000 people. But it's had one problem, is that the only focus it has is just on World War II. And a lot of the people in the HRS are interested in things like World War I, Korea, Vietnam, all parts of the 20th century. And the new 20th Century Tactical Studies Group, which is being formed right now, will take care of those people. And we will be putting on reenactments and public displays of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and so forth.
Okay, when you say tactical studies, is this a organization where you just get together and you study how battles kind of...
Well, that's one thing. The new magazine, the Journal of 20th Century Reenacting / Warfare, will cover not only the tactical part of the individual soldier, but also cover the grand tactical, such as the generals played, the roles they played. We try to focus mostly, though, on the individual person in World War II, the veteran, which are becoming less and less of each year.
You said reenactment.
Okay.
What do you mean? Do you actually go out and, as you're dressed right now, and
exactly like this? Of course, I would have on the field gear and the helmet and carry the weapon. And what we do is we use blanks for these battles. Now, there are two types of battles. There are closed battles, in which the public does not come to, where you actually play almost a war game. Where each side, you have sides, the Germans against the Americans against the Russians, whatever, and you fight it out. And you base the thing called taking hits, where it's basically, if someone opens fire on you and you're in the woods with a machine gun, blanks, of course. Otherwise, we'd have a problem getting new reenactors each battle.
Imagine.
You then take your hit, and you go back to a start point, and you're dead for like 15 minutes, and you come back in the battle. Public display battles, everything is choreographed. You know exactly where the bombs are going to go off, you know exactly where you're going to fall. And that one, you're guaranteed the Americans will always win, the public display battles. Russians and Germans do not win public display battles.
Okay, about the Russians and the Germans. In this group, do you have just one, division?
Oh, no.
Can you be anything? Can you form a Russian division or a German division or an Italian division?
It is possible to form any unit you want in World War II, World War I, or whatever. You have to be accurate in your portrayal. You can't come with hair down to your shoulders to do World War II. You might be able to get away with Vietnam, but not World War II at that. The uniforms have to be correct. The guns have to be correct. To form a unit in the 20th Century Tactical Studies Group, you need a fully formed, recognized unit. You need 15 people. If you have 15 people, you can go out to battles and maneuver how you wish. If you have less than that, you are a unit forming, and you must be attached to a fully recognized unit. So let's say I have 15 people on the field, and I'm a fully recognized unit, and you come in with, say, six people. You would be attached to me for that battle. Now, as soon as you make 15 paid members, you could then maneuver as you wish across the battlefield. Okay.
You said historically accurate. How accurate are you? Is it hard to get things like M1 Garand rifles or original uniforms?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, it depends. If you're doing American, you can get stuff very cheap. There's a place in upstate New York that will sell you anything other than a weapon in World War II, and their warehouse is filled to the brim. M1 Garands right now have gone down in price because the South Koreans have dumped on the open market all the M1 Garands we gave them during the Korean War. In fact, the one I'll be showing you in a few minutes is a post-Korean War M1 Garand. The German stuff, most of the stuff that's used by German reenactors, such as the weapons and the helmets, are reproductions. It's too expensive and too costly to take out original stuff and tear it up. Now, I do know people who do it, but they are people like doctors and lawyers who've got the money to burn and don't care if they waste something or not.
That's another question. What kind of person are you looking for? What kind of person does this?
Just about anybody. Just about anybody. A lot of people I've known that I would think would have no interest at all in this do it. We've had people who are doctors, lawyers, aircraft engineers, janitors, you name the spectrum, and we've had people come from all spectrums to do this.
Okay, are there any other groups that do this that you would affiliate with?
There are now something like 5 or 6 different groups in the country. There's one out in California called the California Historical Group. They do World War II. There's a World War I organization out in Pennsylvania. They've actually taken over about 20 acres of land, bought it, and have dug trenches in it, and actually fight World War I battles with barbed wire and everything going off. There's the HRF, Historical Reenactment Federation, on the East Coast. They're an offshoot also of the HRS. There's also the 36th Division Association down in Texas. They are affiliated with the National Guard down there, and the 36th Division Veterans Association. And there's also a few smaller groups around the country. There's now a Vietnam veterans group that's putting on reenactments out in, I think, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. On the reenactment, the actual battle, how does someone go about organizing all these different things? I know when the battles were first fought that you had general staffs from every different army, and no one really knew where the battle was going to be. How do you recreate something like that?
Well, we usually would take a certain battle. Like a few years back, we did one called the Drive on Luxembourg out in this area. And for that, we picked out a piece of land, did some research into the battle of that period of World War II for Luxembourg, found out what divisions, what units were in the area, and made up several tactical scenarios, such as taking a crossroad or taking a hill area, a hillock for artillery fire or whatever. And what you do is you just take on the various areas and add on the battles. Now, when you do a reenactment battle, you have to figure in just mundane things as parking, water, safety, coordinating with the local sheriff's department for weapons to be brought in the area, because otherwise the sheriff would get very upset if you start firing machine guns and people start complaining. He comes out and finds all these people running around, a bunch of costumed kooks firing machine guns off each other.
I was wondering about that. How do you handle the safety at a battle? How do you keep people from getting hit?
You mean preventing people from sneaking live ammunition in?
That and
Pyrotechnics?
Pyrotechnics, yeah.
Well, if you bring pyrotechnics, you have to be willing to fire it off between your feet. You just put on the ground, stand up and fire it off. If you're not willing to do that, you ain't going out in the field. For ammunition, well, you got to realize that a lot of these weapons have blank adapters on them. And if you try firing a live ammo for a blank adapted weapon, it'll kill you. You'll blow up in your face. We also have ammo inspection where you take all the ammunition and you lay it out on a piece of cloth or you put in your helmet. The ammo inspectors go around and they check each piece of ammunition. And occasionally people fail. Not because they bring live ammo in, because they bring in blanks that are not acceptable.
Okay. How do you recreate a hand-to-hand combat, or do you even try?
No, we don't try that.
Okay.
They tried that in the past.
Allowed, then.
They tried to use rubber bayonets one time, but the problem with rubber bayonets was people didn't realize they were rubber and fights broke out. It's best not, when you get up that close, you see you can't fire a weapon within 10 feet of anybody anyway, so when you get that close, usually you don't have hand-to-hand combat. Hand-to-hand combat did not happen that much in World War II at all, no matter what they say.
Don't believe the Hollywood version.
Don't believe the Hollywood version. There's very few bayonet charges in World War II. World War I killed that.
I can imagine. How do you judge whether someone has been hit?
Well, the simplest way to do that is when say you're crossing open field, and someone fires a single shot at you, a bolt-action rifle, and you don't know if you've been hit or not. Most people won't take the hit because one shot. You figure in World War II you had to fire almost 1 million rounds to kill one man. In Vietnam it was like 3 million rounds to kill one man. Now, when someone opens up a machine gun or automatic or an ammo pumps 8 rounds at you from 81 Garand, most people say, "Yeah, I probably got hit." And there's no wounded, you're dead or you're alive, because we don't have the facilities. They've tried to do hospitals and field hospital stuff. It doesn't work.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We've been talking with Jay Sproat here on University Today. I'm Steve Brennemann, and we'll be right back after this.
guy who's a line mechanic. He said that if you rough cut the gutters just enough to clear the nozzle, you could remove the flame holders without pulling the whole engine. Cut the time down from 3 days to a couple of hours. Everybody went nuts. You know what? He was right. It works. Now he's got the whole Air Force doing it his way. Aim high, Air Force.
Thank you welcome back to University Today. I'm Steve Brennemann. We've been talking with Jay Sproat about the 20th Central Tactical Studies Group and what exactly they do. Jay, is your group just totally reenactment, or do you have political concerns? Are you associated with the NRA, for example?
No, we're not associated with the NRA. A lot of our members belong to the NRA, but no, we're not affiliated with the NRA at all.
Okay, one other thing. I know in World War II, and even to current day, the United States government, and most other governments for that matter, have a policy in which women are not allowed on the battlefield. Do you carry that through with your organization?
We leave it up to individual units within the group. If, let's say, you have a unit and you want to allow women to portray men in a tactical situation, and conceal their femininity as best as possible. We have a thing called a 10-foot rule. If it looks original from 10 feet away, it passes. And usually from 10 feet away, the woman puts her hair up and wears the uniform. You can't tell the difference.
Okay. Have you had any problems with other, well, I'll be blunt, have you had any problems with the United Jewish Front, for example?
No.
Or anything like that? People that just don't want you to do this kind of thing?
No. Most people seem to be, when they first hear about World War II reenacting, or World War I or whatever, they're kind of shocked, except for the veterans. The veterans are the ones who say, my God, finally I can tell my kids, show my kids how it's done. The most poignant thing I've ever had happen to me was I was wearing this uniform over here at a World War II reenactment public display battle at Jefferson Barracks, Missouri, a few years back. And this old man came up to me, I mean, this very, very elderly man, and he told me that he had been a survivor of death camps, Dachau. And my first thing was, oh my God, here's a guy beats me to death with his cane. And I said, well, I hope you don't find this offensive. He goes, I find the uniform offensive, but not what you're doing. As long as you keep showing people that there were Nazis at one time, it won't ever happen again. And I was kind of pleased by that, too.
Okay. What are the requirements that you have for membership?
Pay the dues.
That's it?
Pay the dues, and if you want to come out to battles, you can come out to battles. If you don't want to, you don't have. See, the 20th Century Tactical Studies Group, it's $15 a year to get the magazine, which comes out 4 times a year. If you want to reenact, it's an extra $5 for membership in the group. There's a lot of people out there who just want to get the magazine, just want to read about history, don't want to reenact.
Okay.
The ones when you pay the extra $5, you get the card, you get the permission to attend battles and so forth.
Okay. Well, we have some footage of a battle that went on. It's the 1985 National Battle, and I'd like to go to that